for joining us.
Thank you too for having me on your program.
All right. The conversation concerning this disaster goes in different directions. One of them is with the level of approval for a 21-story building. There was initially a rumor, or initially the narrative rather, that it was only approved to be a 15-story building, but of course...
It wasn't the proper person to speak to it. The general manager of the building control agency, Mr. Gola, he came out to say the approval granted was for 15 levels, not 21. And if there is somebody who can speak authoritatively, it should be him. If there's another person who can speak authoritatively, it should be the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, not the Deputy Governor. Because what it does is to leave this very bitter taste in the mouth that there's a whitewashing going on, that there's this rush to exonerate the developer on the part of the Deputy Governor. Yes. Having said that, we will leave the political part of it, the whitewashing part of it, and I will come directly to your question. It is the responsibility of the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development to grant permits and approval on any building over... Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I would like you to repeat that. You said whose responsibility should it be to approve beyond 8 floors?
It is the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development.
To approve a building beyond 8 floors or up to 8 floors?
Interestingly, when it comes to development, when it comes to building, when it comes to urban renewal, if all of this falls squarely within the portfolio of the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, that is responsibility. In fact, of course, you can strike the argument and say, every ministry is an adjunct of the governor. So whether you're the Commissioner for Physical Planning or anything, you are an extension of the governor.
And it graduates to 21. Is there a possibility that can happen?
Of course it can happen. Don't forget that, like I said to you, you have 3 agencies under the Commissioner, for Physical Planning and Urban Development. You have the Physical Permit Approval Authority, you have the Building Control Agency, then you have the Urban Renewal Agency. Now, it is the duty of the Permit Authority to say, okay, you know what, I've granted, let's say, it's approval for you to build 8 levels, 8-story building. But you have the view that you want to increase that. What you do is to go back to that authority to say, okay, I want to increase it from 8 to 10 to 100 to 1 million. But it is the duty of the authority to say that what you have there, this extension you're asking for, can it be accommodated within what's on ground? So you look at it. So you look at the foundation, you look at the soil type, you look at a lot of factors.
Setup for that building could carry 21 floors. We'll get back there, but I want you to go on to talk about whose approval is needed to build beyond 8 floors. If you're getting to 15 stories, 15 floors, if you're getting to 21, whose approval is needed for that?
I can tell you authoritatively that approach I want to say is directly the governor. It's actually under the purview of the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development. I can give that answer straight up.
Can you repeat that, please?
The level of approval that you have just asked a question in respect of falls within the purview of the Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development.
One-story building.
It is not the responsibility of the governor of the state to sit and say, okay, you want to build a house of whatever level, and I begin to give you approval. That is not his job. That's why you have subordinates like that, the commissioner. That is his job.
All right, then. So let's also talk about, because there seemed to be, we're hoping that the panel would do its diligence and then would definitely find out, hopefully, what went wrong at what point. But you also would agree with me that the reason why we have codes and laws, building laws and codes, is so that people cannot build, the way they're deemed fit. People should be able to. Now, there's a body. The question will now be, now that we have the structure that was erected 20.
I can tell you that's the job of Mr. Bonaoke, the suspended general manager of Building Control Agency. That's Lagos State Building Control Agency. Their primary job is enforcement and compliance. So it is not enough for him to come out to say, oh, the approval that was given was for 15th floor. How did they get to 21st floor? He had a responsibility really to shut it down. But like I said, I'm beginning to feel that there are other factors which I do not want to go to. I don't want us to make conjectures. I mean, the deputy governor has come out to overrule his own general manager. The general manager who is starting with the responsibility of enforcement and compliance came out to say, no, this also was granted. But the deputy governor came out to say, no, Mr. Bonaoke, you are lying. So even before, you had made reference to the panel. Even before the panel has been given the opportunity to sit, top members of the government are already going contrary to each other. So let's take the politics out of it. It is the duty of the Building Control Agency to.
Yeah, but now let's talk about. If you know the story well enough, there's a part where it says that Femi Oshibona was arrested at some point for going beyond the amount of floors that was approved.
But you're definitely sorry. With due respect, the deputy governor said what the government approved was 21 floors. It's just a shame, really. I thought that should have been left to the committee set up to look into all of this and come up with their findings. Because what I see is a lot of whitewashing going on. Nobody seems to care about the poor workers who died on the site. There seems to be very consistent attempt, to pay the developer some kind of, it was just a minor infraction. It was giving approval to build 21 floors and all of that. But having said that, your question, again, let's leave the politics out of it. Your question is, who is responsible for monitoring and enforcement? That is Mr. Bonaoke of LASTA, that's Lagos State Building Control Agency.
Who has currently been suspended. Mr. Isong, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm just clarifying that Bonaoke has been suspended by the governor after this incident.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'm saying I just was clarifying that Mr. Bonaoke has been suspended after this incident. Go ahead. Tunde Son, go ahead.
Are you saying that?
Go ahead.
Can you confirm that Mr. Bona has been suspended or what? Or has been
has been suspended, yes. I just was clarifying that. Go ahead.
No, he has been suspended.
Yes.
And you want to say that, I'm looking at Mr. Bonaoke with due respect to him. If you are made the general manager of the Building Control Agency and there are powers beyond you which will not allow you to do your work, the proper thing to do is not to come out and say 15th floor and all of that. Resign. Because he came out categorically. He said, I am the person confirmed with the right and the responsibility to monitor buildings in Lagos State, to enforce compliance with laid down standards. And I know for a fact the approval was given for 15 floors. Now, if a man goes ahead to build 21 floors and you cannot control him, if I were in your shoes, I would just say, well, I'm not a figurehead, I will resign.
Okay, so yesterday when we had Collins Balogun, an expert concrete technologist, he talked about he mentioned some necessary steps that need to be followed. He talked about soil test, architectural design and mechanical design, electrical and structural design. Now, is it possible that one of these steps can be skipped? And could it be that, that's the case with the collapse of, the story building in Ikoyi?
I'll tell you something. If you look at what we call the 2019 regulations, made pursuant to the 2010 law, we've never lacked for what of the right thing to do when it comes to law. if the regulations are followed, it's only force majeure, that is an act of God, that will make any building collapse in Lagos State. So it's not that the laws and regulations are not there, but nobody complies with them. Nobody complies with them. So it's not a question. I mean, if you look at those regulations, if you look at the level of what is required for you to have a permit, for you to have an approval in Lagos State, for you to build in Lagos State, if those things are followed, we won't be talking about this. But it is not new. I mean, Lekki Garden City is there, Synagogue of Foundation is there. Now we're dealing with Koyi building. In 2 years, we'll be dealing with that because nothing will change. We'll just talk about this. Oh, we don't go about, oh, this is not good, this is not good, and we move on. It has not been about the law. It has not been about the regulations. It's not been about those things. They're there.
So you're saying that it's possible yeah, so you're saying that it's possible that, you know, the developers or those who were, you know, involved in construction of this structure actually would have skipped the process, maybe the soil testing or architectural design and what have you. It's possible.
You know, the truth is that if you are doing a 21-story building, the level of approval required for the level of stuff you have to comply with, they're so huge. But you will find out that all the Babarasaki, all the Yarisi were employed to build this without anybody saying, no, you are not complying with the permit that was given to you. As long as there are no repercussions for the things that we do, as long as you have people who are bigger and stronger than government, we keep having them. As long as there are no repercussions, we keep coming back to this same story. In a year time, we talk about it. In 2 years time, we talk about it. And that is the truth. It's just talk.
Mr. Esson,
It's just talk.
Mr. Esson, do you think it's important?
So really, it is not. It is not by your rules, not by your regulations, not by your laws. You have more than enough. But who ensures compliance? Nobody. Yeah. So we have this climate all over the place. So as long as there are no consequences for wrongdoing, we keep having stuff like this.
Mr. Esson, do you think it's important that the Lagos State government begins to look at all the approvals that have been given in the last 2 years and does a thorough check on every structure that has been built in the last 2 years in Lagos that is beyond 5 floors?
The interesting thing is that if you can't even construct a fence in Lagos without an approval, I'm not an ordinary fence, without an approval. So I like what you said, but is anybody going to do it? Yeah, for the sake of the fact that we are talking, yes, let them go back 5 years and look at every approval given. But is that going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. Don't be surprised, sir. And we'll have this conversation again in a year. Another 20-story collapse. And we're back to the same story. Do we learn? I mean, you've given a very fantastic suggestion. Can you review your permits in the last 5 years, in the last 4 years, in the last 2 years? Well, I can tell you for free that it won't happen. When we talk, when we cry, when we declare 3 days of mourning, and we move on. That's who we are.
That's really sad. We'll say good morning to Dikpo Ajayi. He's the president, Architects Registration Council. Mr. Ajayi, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
It's a really, really sad discussion, you know, and every time that we have to go through this, it's really, really hurtful. But I want you to share your thoughts on where we are so far. The government has, of course, set up a panel to look into this incident. I've seen people say that this should be a criminal investigation and not, you know, a situation where a panel should be set up. Do you agree with that, or, you know, are we okay with just looking at a panel, you know, that would submit its report in 30 days?
I say I wouldn't agree, because I visited the site myself with my team, and as the head of the 7 regulatory body in Nigeria and president of ACOM, I believe that they are responsible for regulation. I believe that at least any member of this 7 built environment should be on that panel. because they are the custodian of regulation in Nigeria, and they are present in each state of the federation. And these people are not less than 10, 20, 40 years of experience in the industry: engineers, architects, town planner, quantity surveying. And I believe strongly that it's a person that knows the history that can tell the story. Number two, I wouldn't condemn the people appointed now to be on the panel. In our own system, we have the panel, we have the tribunal backed up by Federal Republic of Nigeria by law. And I think nobody wants to mess around. So I think the time given to even the panel is too long, because Nigeria, in 2 or 3 weeks, people will forget about what they are doing. Everybody will be doing what they want to do. So I believe that more qualified professionals, satisfied professionals, should be on that panel. And their body has written a proposal and letter to the government to that effect 3 days ago. And I believe that the investigation is just the processes, 2 ways. And number two, they think of what do we do? What is the approval? The process is approval process. The second one is supervision. So if you have a process and you have supervision, the professionals on this particular building at Gerard should be called upon to come and answer questions. There's nothing that I want to answer anymore. After you ask the question from this professional, who has their registered license, they can be tracked with numbers. So they should be able to tell the story within 1 week. Then we move to the contractor. What is the selection of the contractor? When you get there is no contractor on the board, no professional, just put their phone numbers. It's part of the corruption and incompetence in Nigeria. So I believe that we should start very well this time around. It's not a large crowd of people. 2 or 3 people will find a solution to this thing. You have the approval process, you have the implementation process. What happened during the approval process? What happened during the implementation process? That's my own view that I say. I think the committee might not be able to give in-depth solution to this one. Thank you very much.
Okay, so at this point in time now, what do you think will be the way forward?
The way forward is to either leave the committee as it is and widen the numbers, and at the same time they make presentation on the processes, then the implementation. That is the process in the built environment. The process are there. You'll be able to identify from the consultant on this project. You'll be able to know the papers, like the architect said, he said they approved 15 floors and they built 21. It's trackable. Bring the papers. Is it true? It's not true. It's not a matter of suspending the architect. It's a matter of asking questions further. Where are your papers? A layman will be able to know how many floors were approved, how many floors were built. And these developers, in Nigeria, at times they just go to the site, they start building in the name of developer. They bring foreigners who are not concerned with our laws. And when you come to this country, you are supposed to register a medical doctor like engineers abroad, in Canada, North America, in Europe. Don't just come to a country and call yourself an architect. I don't want to believe the people that were paraded on the screen that they are architects, they are Italians, they built in South Africa. They can't do that in South Africa. So don't just come to a country and start operating. There must be rules and regulations. Even a driver in North America, you must get through stages before you can drive in a street, on the road, on the express. That's the only way you can be that is acceptable in any part of the world. But our country is so porous. A bricklayer can be called an architect in Nigeria. Then what is your number? Every architect, we are no more than, like for instance, we are no more than 5,000 in the country so far since 1969. So they have numbers. And we have devised a system, APR numbers, a number that enables one to track down the professionals in the industry. So this is a computer age that I think should make use of technology. So I saw on the screen yesterday night, so the site was so bad that they were trying to arrest people at the site. That's not the process. Who are the people involved? 2 or 10 people, 20 people. Interview them within 1 week. We get the answers. We now go whether the materials are really okay or not. We have a process where we go to the lab to test the iron rod, to test the materials, to test the block, and the architect or the engineer will have record of it. In 2 days, the record will be made available for us to really know what is the problem. But presently in the country is developing in a riotous form. Anybody can just start anything. Going on, a developer will get approval for 2 buildings. He's building 50, 200. They are there.
All right,
So
Mr. Ajayi, hold on.
It's professionality.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing, you know, about this whole discussion that doesn't make me sad. Tunde, so let me bring you back in. I'm sure you listened to Dipo Ajayi. He's the President Architect Registration Council.
I agree.
And I'm going to take the same question to you. Do you think there should be a criminal investigation instead of a panel being set up to submit their report in 30 days and whatnot?
You know, listen to me, sir. I obey those regulations. So really, nice talking to you, nice coming there, nice speaking all this English, but what does it change? What does it really change? You know, people died, and people should be held criminally responsible. Beyond the panel, people should be held criminally liable for this. Human beings died. Thank you.
But don't you also think, maybe we'll go back to Mr. Ajayi now, don't you think that at this point in time, because he's mentioned that, you know, we have laws, there are a lot of regulations, we are over-regulated, but the issue now is the fact that there's no implementation. But in this particular case, there's a body that's responsible to ensure compliance, and should we not be putting the blame on the person who knows that there are laws and people should ensure that, you know, there's compliance with the building code and the building permits?
Well, on my side, I don't believe that there are many regulators. There are state regulatory bodies. There are national regulatory body, which is allowed. And they have their functions. The only thing I could see in Lagos is that they are not well equipped. They don't have vehicles to police the state of regular structures. Individual is faster than government. So the federal will look into it, ensure that they are members of the professional bodies, seven professionals in the built environment. They have numbers. Through the signboard, that's a display your signboard so that they can be tracked. In this case, they just put their phone numbers there. And when you call the phone number, it's not going. So the next thing you do, they should put their number there. They should put their code there so they can be located. They can be tracked down by the regulatory body federal. So I don't think they are over-regulated in first instance. Then number two, it's unfortunate that it's very sad every day we start repeating this thing. Once and for all, as I said earlier, this process is divided into two. Process of approved plans, then implementation. That's all. The implementation are being supervised by the state government by law. The numbers displayed on the board will be used by the professionals to know who is the architect, how competent, who is the engineer, who is the quantity survey. But they don't do it. So this is the problem. Then concerning the criminal investigation, yes, that's another thing entirely. The panel will look into it, then back up by law. But what I saw there in that place, there's a lot of incompetence. I won't comment now because panel is sitting. Incompetence in terms of materials, incompetence in the layout itself. You have 63 flats. Where are they going to park? What area are they parking? And they are using sophisticated gadgets proposed. Yes, are they going to say the cars should park on the roads? So we should look at the plan. We should look out for 63 flats, maybe 2 cars per 1 flat. These are very, very important. Then when you see the plan itself, is it something that is it biddable? The engineer was said to have withdrawn. Well, I saw it. I didn't know the person who received the resignation letter. I don't think whether Korean received it. The architect that is there, well, on now we have checked. We have not seen the architect. So we should do the process of tracking.
So the architect is not registered in Archon. The architect on that project was not registered with your body.
So far, from what we have had on the screen, rumor, we have not been able to track down because on our record we did not see the APR number of that project because we have designed a system that when you are on a project before you start, you assess your APRN. It's going to be sent to you personally on each project in the country. Therefore, if anything happens, you track down the architect. Ditto for the engineers. Ditto for the quantities of it.
Oh, wow. I want to look into other things.
When these people are not employed.
Tunde-san, we're going to bring you back in just a second. But I want Mr. Dikpo Ajayi to go on with his views here. I'll just quickly mention that I've also just seen, and this is where I want Tunde-san to speak on. I've seen a video clip this morning of Femi Oshibona, who was being interviewed on a sister television station where he was basically saying that, you know, when he moved to Nigeria, he used to listen to architects and structural engineers, but over time he eventually stopped, you know, and he stopped taking advice from them with his building projects. He also spoke in that same interview about a particular building or a particular structure that he constructed, I think in the UK, where he went ahead to add additional floors without getting approval. I hope that eventually goes viral. Well, I can't share it. But Tunde-san will bring you in on that one. Mr. Ajayi, I'm still with you here. I want you to speak on, from the experience that you've had driving around Lagos, are there certain buildings that you may have also seen and in your mind you've told yourself or you've thought to yourself, there's something obviously wrong with this structure and this is a ticking time bomb? Have you seen some of all these, you know, examples like that around Lagos?
Yes, practically speaking, yes. Particularly the so-called developers. Then I want to correct something. That somebody comes to a country to say he stops listening to regulators, consultants. That's impunity. How can you stop? Do you get permission from government to stop listening to experts? It's a developing country, yes, but these are people who are well trained. I spent 8 years in the university to obtain BSc, Masters, and industrial training before I could get my certificate. And I waited for another 2 years of tutelage to become an architect. And today, I'm the president of the Legislative Council of Nigeria. So how can you say you're not listening to me? How can you say you're not listening to an engineer? I think it's impunity. It's a sad one. One-to-one want to engage such a person in this country. You see, go around the Ikoyi, go around to Oniru, go down to Shapati, all those kind of places. You wonder what is happening around here. What are they doing? And these people said they are not listening to experts. Were they trained to be useless? Are they saying the experts are better to Nigerians or better than me that I'm talking? I've been to all part of the world. What are they talking about? This is a sad one. This is a sad statement.
Okay.
He stopped listening to an stop listening to an engineer. That's a sad one. Which materials, which drawing, which calculation will you show? You employ a bricklayer instead of an architect?
All right.
I think a lot of this process, I think should be done in 3 days.
All right,
Just-
Tunde Esong, can you go
Yeah.
ahead and also share your views on that?
You were referring to the interview where he said he has disdain for professionals. Basically, that's the summary of that interview. And that reflects the mindset of your money men and your people in power. It reflects the mindset of your poor and your middle class. You know what here in Nigeria, education has come. Education is a scam. It's a mantra that we all repeat. It speaks to our mindset as a people. Now, I live in Obudu GRA. That's supposed to be a low-density area. But on a daily basis, the whole place is being pulled down and all sorts of structures are springing up. No control, no regulation. Now, let me tell you something that is funny. There's no building, there's no renovation that comes up in Lagos that is not sealed. You will see the red mark. It becomes a negotiation thing. How much can I get to or seal it? So don't think that there's any development, any renovation that goes on in Lagos State that, in quotes, the regulators do not know about. So they come with their thick red
Paint.
paint and they say, stop work. You know what? It's about, let's have a conversation. How much can I get so I can unseal? That is just the reality of our existence. So take the history of the developer. Go back to his interviews. Go back to his enablers. What they said in the past and what they are saying now. Go back. The enablers are there. There are people that you know in the media. You know, in the clergy. They're there. The enablers are there. Those are your enablers. And that's a reflection of your nation. So when you see him talk this way, when I hear Mr. Ajayi speaks with so much passion, you're just wondering that what really is the problem? Can we continue like this? Can we run a nation like this? Where there's absolutely no respect for education, no respect for rules, and those who are saddled with enforcement, they turn the other way as long as you can do the needful, whatever that means in Nigerian context. I hope Mr. Sowolu is strong enough.
All right, Mr. Esong.
To hold everybody that is responsible for this murder, because it is mass murder.
All right. Mr. Esong, we would have to wrap up here. If you are social media active, I think I just sent you a message on check your social media platforms. I think I just sent you a message. Tunde Esong, thank you so much for your time this morning. Dikwa Ajayi, President, Architects Registration Council, thank you both for speaking with us. Unfortunately, this is a really, really sad conversation, but it must be had. Thank you both, and we wish you a beautiful weekend ahead.
We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll just head straight to the second conversation about Abuja and the kidnappings. Please stick around.
Wake up, Motherland, to electrifying performances at the 2021 All-African Music Awards. Afrima, from November 19th to the 21st, 2021 at Eco Hotels, Lagos, Nigeria.
Featuring Africa Music Business Summit, a platform for business networking and interaction among music professionals.
Join Afrima Music Fest, an evening of non-stop music concert with live broadcasts and performances from African music superstars. Date is Friday, November 19th from 6 p.m.
Sunday, November 21st comes with all the glitz and glam from Africa's music superstars, celebrities and international personalities at Afrima Awards Ceremony. Red carpets 4:30 p.m, awards 7:30 p.m.
All at the Eco Hotels and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. For tickets and seat reservation, visit www.afrima.org. Brought to you by GoBed247.com.
Navadina Hair.
Address home, Afrima. Still we sing for hope, for celebration.
Welcome back to The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. We head straight to our second conversation, and we're looking at the Abuja invasion or kidnapping where gunmen abducted 6 persons, lecturers, including their kids. And this is not the first time you were talking about insecurity in the capital. Now, one would think that in the capital should be one of the safest places, in the country. But that's not the case. Right now, the lecturers are also saying they are traumatized and they can't go to schools. And of course, you also have some quarters saying kids, they need to take the kids and ensure that their kids are not in school due to all of this that's ongoing. We do have a former commissioner of police joining the conversation this morning, Lawrence Alubi. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Let's quickly share your thoughts on, the recent kidnapping that happened in the University of Abuja and the fact that lecturers are saying that they are traumatized and they can't go back to school.
Yeah, actually, that is very traumatizing. Though not only the school itself, the entire nation. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria, and its such incident has never occurred before. So I think it's very embarrassing, and the lecturers are off my time. So I think we have the cause to say to school. We have a cause to do so. Actually, the commissioner of police command has assured the school authority necessary action to stand in the security of the university and all staff, lecturers, and the environment activities.
Well, Mr. Alobi, I want your views on what this means, because we're not. This isn't something that we're used to hearing about concerning the Federal Capital Territory. I remember there was a time when there were stories that bandits had placed a flag, or Boko Haram had placed a flag at Shiroro Shiroro Dam area. And of course, when that happened, people started to say, oh, it seems that these terrorists are getting closer to Abuja. So does this, make, do these two events, start to, correlate with each other? Should people living in the FCT start to live in fear that maybe the insecurity in different parts of the country has gotten to the FCT fully?
No, security actually should be considered. The government itself, like the control providers, and the government, the security and the citizens, and social enforcement, same control providers, the personality that is mentioned of law and order. So the security is approved 24 years. You feel security, somebody, everyone, also say that. So we don't just loan what is even the university itself also provide arrangement so that actually across maybe we have something that is serious about government can see the same time because university environment. But again, maybe all these
all right.
About attacking everything and so the police also in particular and several defense and of course yes, I think there are everything possible to ensure that it's safe and secure. There's no time because the point is that those factors that at this time are very prevalent in society, unemployment, poverty, pay, governance, competence, the government and so forth. These are that but I'm sure if considered is being taken and strategies are being well empowered and equipped and funded. And the students also have obligation to contribute to the environment, and give it money
Wow.
In
Mr. Alobi, it's not very clear hearing
in
you this morning.
the threat and checking any threat of autonomy threat to the FCT is a balance.
Okay, well, we're struggling with the sound and the feed from your end this morning. But I think you can also quickly go ahead and share with us, what the improvements in security need to, immediately come into play here, not just in Abuja, but for the rest of the country. In what ways would you say the Nigerian government needs to immediately improve on its security structure and investments?
Yeah, it's security is a country. That they expect all over the country. Like today now, there a number in gubernatorial elections, and the police, the military, the DSS, all those have mobilized massively to Anambra State because of the threat. But thank God the IPOP has suspended their sit-down order, and we pray that Anambradians will come out in mass to vote and cite their franchise and participate in the political process of electing their government. The security issue, the point is that security today is economically driven and capital intensive. But they see the people against the most of the police are not included as expected. Not only the police, but in terms of environment that manpower requirement is also inadequate. For instance, the police less than 500,000 officers. The Nigerians were over 120 million people. Consider the vast nature of our country, topography, and see all these are the great insecurity and expecting. Sometimes all the effort being made may not be the desired result because of this challenge. But the government should fund the police. And again, we don't have today in Nigeria a national policing strategy that can enable all the actors, state and non-state actors, to know how to navigate, how to carry their functions, how they should collaborate, how they should synergize. So these are the a national policing strategy and framework that will also enable the police as a lead agency to give a leadership direction on police and law enforcement in this country. The citizens also to be security conscious, feeling that only the government are going to provide of their own security skills and take action. And it's like we provide, like in the houses, they have gadgets, and also how to educate their consciousness, how to manage information about their life and the life of other persons, and also know how to ensure that their housemates, houseboys and housegirls are not allowed, are not given ability to capitalize and compromise the security of their parents.
All right, Mr. Alobi.
So I think it should be done holistically, and if the citizens that they also have a duty, it's important that in this country, Nigerians emphasize on their rights, the detriment of their obligations and responsibility as citizens.
Right. Mr. Alobi, apologies because of the quality of sound. We have to apologize. The quality of feed from our guest is from Lawrence Alobi this morning. He's the former Commissioner of Police, but it's not very clear hearing exactly what he's saying. So we probably would have to reschedule this conversation and speak a little bit more on security sometime during the day or sometime next week. But thanks anyway for joining us and for being a part of the program. This is where we will be wrapping up for this morning and, of course, for the week. We'll be back here again on Monday morning. For now, it's goodbye from us. If you missed out on any of our conversations this week, remember where to catch up.
On Plus TV Africa, Facebook and Instagram. And, of course, YouTube is at Plus TV Africa. I am Messi Boko. Do have a great morning. And I am Osaogi Ogbawa. Wishing you a great weekend ahead.
Hello and welcome. It's Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. Nimasa This Week is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Statutorily mandated to ensure that there's regulation and promotion of matters affecting our waters. NIMASA bears responsibility for search and rescue, shipping development, and ship registration.
NIMASA This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on this channel.
Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church. Our God is a God of salvation, far above all principality and power, and might and dominion, that regardless of what happens in this season, you will escape. Say to your neighbor, there is no peace for the wicked. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is a man's precious possession. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Moment of Truth with Pastor Tunde Bakare, Sundays, 7 p.m. on PlusTvAfrica.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Thanks for joining us on Plus News Brief. I am Osaogi Ogbonwa. The body of the Managing Director, Fourscore Homes, Femi Oshibona, has been recovered in the rubble of the collapsed Ikoyi building. Fourscore Homes is the firm constructing the 21-story building under construction, which collapsed on Monday on Gerard Road in Ikoyi, Lagos. The National Emergency Management Agency confirmed this after rescuers discovered the body. Meanwhile, the president of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, NITP, Mr. Toyin Ayinde, has been named as the chair.
To engage anybody that you so wish to appear. We feel confident that coming out from
this exercise can only be different if we agree to place a value on the Nigerian life. If a Nigerian life is invaluable, if it is a life that cannot be bought, no matter the pressure, then this exercise will lead to the preservation of that life. This should lead us to say, the time has come to hold the bull by the horn and let justice prevail. As panel members, we promise to be guided by professional standards and hope that we will collectively be able to chart a new course that will guarantee the safety of the life of the Nigerian citizen as far as the construction industry is concerned.
Also in the news, relatives of victims from the Ikoyi building are hopeful and praying that they find their loved ones who may still be trapped in the debris. PlusTvAfrica's correspondent Destiny Momo, who visited the site of the tragedy, tells us more.
Right here to talk to relatives that one way or the other have lost someone or are still expectant that their loved ones might be able to come out of this debris.
As the bulldozers tear through the debris, all eyes gazed with so much hope and anxiety, waiting to hear the voices of trapped victims begging to be rescued. With worried looks, they frantically made their way to the scene, not sure if their loved ones are still trapped, while others were certain that their families are within the rubbles.
Inside there, he came to look for his friend. Then, not quite 20 minutes, the building is collapsed. So, the name of my brother Bob Adewale. So, Seni. That is why we are here since 3 days.
Our wife now called me that he's looking for his husband. Maybe I know where he is. So as I just hear from anybody that everybody that's about there that there is one incident that has happened at Ikoyi or this and that. So they now said it's among people that are here. So that's why we came here.
They call the number, they not pick the number. They say number 6 up, number 6 up. Now make you say we no go fit sit down like that. Make you just the final. If you see him for somewhere, okay. If you not see him, you go come check for here because instead in the workers like those people.
Residents have trooped out today to report missing relatives as they gave useful information to the authorities in charge. The ambience was gloom, with onlookers and bystanders wearing one looks. Alas, victims of those strapped, which were conspicuous around the vicinity, were towed away. President Architect Registration Council of Nigeria, Dikpo Ajayi, gave some glimpse of hope that there may be a possibility of victims who may still be trapped alive.
It's possible we have a sample when people are in the rubbles for 5 days and you still miss them. But this is a matter of divine intervention, as I put it. Yeah.
He also spoke on the need for developers.
Candidates in Anambra governorship elections slated for Saturday, November 6th, have signed a peace accord in Awka, the state capital. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, was present at the ceremony, which was facilitated by the National Peace Committee. The NPC is chaired by the former military head of state, General Abdulsalam Abubakar. The candidate of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, Ifeanyi Uba, Andy Uba of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and Chukwuma Soludo of the All Progressive Grand Alliance were among the signees.
INEC chairman has said, and as the IG has said and repeated again, nobody should have any fear going out to cast your vote. The journeys have become much shorter. So please, if for nothing else, that General Abdul Salam has traveled all the way from Mina today to come here, and that I've come all the way from Sokoto to be here to support you. Our uncle used to say, if my wife dies and you are crying more than me, should be wondering. But you cannot go and cry. But you can't go and cry more than the bereaved. If you are crying more than the bereaved, something is wrong. So I just want to say that we can't do better than the people of Anambra, but we are here to support you and to encourage you. Our prayers are with you. I cannot tell you how many telephone calls I've received from people asking me whether I'm crazy to be in Anambra at this time. We are here by faith. Please reward yourself, reward the blessings of God by going out to conduct for INEC and all of us the freest and the fairest election. Because the technology and the advancements made by INEC will be tested here in Anambra. So therefore, don't be afraid.
Still in the news, the indigenous people of Biafra has cancelled its one-week sit-at-home order it issued to fight for, since all business activities would be brought to a halt with the sit-at-home order. And ahead of Saturday's governorship election in Anambra, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Khali Baba, has ordered the restriction of vehicular movement in the state. In a statement, the IGP said the restriction is part of measures aimed at protecting the sanctity of the electoral process on November 6th. According to the statement, there would be no movement of vehicles in and out of Anambra State from 11:59 p.m. on Friday, November 5th, to 11:59 p.m. Saturday, November 6th. Still in the news, Southeast governors have planned to meet with the federal government to discuss issues bothering Igbo youths, including the release of the indigenous people of Biafra leader, Nnamdi Kanu. Chairman of Southeast Governors Forum, David Umahi, stated this in a statement on Thursday. While assuring that the issues will soon be addressed, the governors noted that they are also working with security to protect lives and property in the region. They said they have also been in talks with some of the groups responsible for the spate of sit-at-home orders, which had generated tension in the region. And 3 days after he was arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, businessman Obinna Iyebu, also known as Obi Kubana, has been released. He was released on administrative bail after interrogation for alleged money laundering and tax evasion. We have unconfirmed reports that his passport had been seized and he would be required to report to the EFCC periodically. And the chairman, National Drug Law Enforcement.
Economic concern across the globe, and Nigeria as a nation is not left out. Billions of dollars are being voted every year by these countries to fight the scourge, as well as go into cross-border agreements to stop the illicit trade from getting into the countries. But if the testimony from the current chairman of the agency during his 2022 budget defense is anything to go by, Nigeria is still scratching the surface in the fight against illicit drugs.
But there are still numerous areas, both in the overheads and in the capital, as we have explained, for your help to intervene and enhance, so that the effectiveness of drug law enforcement across the board will be ensured, recognizing the threat to national security that we face.
Further buttressing these, the former governor of Lagos State listed various areas the agency is lacking, which includes inadequate funding to acquire arms and ammunition, vehicles for operation, accommodation for staff, and low budget for media and publicity, to mention a few. The committee expressed their desire to assist the agency in every way possible to function effectively and efficiently.
We are also very mindful that in spite of the challenges we've had over the years, in the funding and what have you, we also know very clearly that there are also some bad eggs in that organization who have not actually put to maximum use some of the resources available to them. All efforts should be put in place to ensure that the NDLEA is taken as a priority agency, because the drug situation in this country requires an emergency. That is the truth. Everywhere, primary schools, secondary schools, markets, everywhere.
9 million naira. which is almost the cost of a trip of one director in some agencies. Gentlemen, let us be very fair to ourselves. Yes, we want somebody to walk. You don't give him sufficient tools to walk. How does he walk?
The committee promised to render all the assistance to ensure more funding for the agency to provide equipment and for the welfare of its personnel to enable it block access to illicit drugs within and into the country.
And still in the news, the Adamawa State Governor, Ahmadu Fintiri, has presented a budget proposal of 163 billion naira for the 2022 fiscal year. Fintiri, who presented the budget before the State House of Assembly, said it is made up of 98.8 billion naira or 60% for recurrent expenditure and 64.7 billion naira or 40% for capital expenditure. He explained that the fiscal proposal, tagged Budget of Sustainable Hope, is designed to sustain the fast pace of development of his government.
Government has proposed to spend the total of 21 billion naira on urban and rural roads. It is important to remind honorable members that our plan to reduce housing deficit in the state will be sustained by ensuring the completion of the 1,000 housing units which is ongoing and the ones being provided by Northeast Development Commission. It is my desire to see that all our communities are electrified and also have good access roads. To transform this desire to fruition, my administration is going to be committed to the development of our electrification and rural roads under rural infrastructure and community development.
You're still watching News Brief on Plus TV Africa. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has called on Nigerian youths to explore the opportunities in the tech space to compete favorably in the emerging trends of the global community. Osinbajo made this call while delivering the maiden convocation lecture at the convocation ceremony and installation of the first Chancellor of Kola Desi University, Ibadan. He charged young people to embrace the challenges of life through innovative solutions to societal challenges, to create employment opportunities for themselves and for their contemporaries. In his installation speech, the Chancellor of the University, Kola Desi, said, "The institution is established to provide qualitative education for the present and future generations of Nigerian youths that will rapidly respond to the socio-economic needs of a knowledge-driven economy."
For the next 5 years, every year, 20,000 students after youth service will be given internship opportunities in private sector companies and in public agencies. The idea will be for the participants to gain relevant career and life skills that will enable them transition seamlessly into professional business or public sector careers, while also earning a good pay during the internship.
In recent years, there has been a steady rise in the establishment of private universities. And in this era of technology, it's very certain that probably as much as 70% of jobs in our future economy require university education.
A total of 52 graduates participated at the convocation ceremony, with 12 of them bagging first-class honors. Now to the stories in other parts of Africa. A jihadist attack in Niger's volatile tri-border zone with Burkina Faso and Mali has killed dozens of members of a self-defense militia. The assault took place on Tuesday at Adabdab village. A motorcycle-borne defense force was attacked by heavily armed members of the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara. Local media are reporting about 60 dead and 9 missing. And Sudan's army chief on Thursday ordered the release of 4 civilian ministers detained since he led a military coup last month. This is coming as international pressure mounts to restore the democratic transition. The move by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan came as the army said the formation of a new government was imminent. Still in other parts of Africa, South Africa's governing African National Congress ANC took 46% of the vote in municipal elections, making it the party's worst election outcome since taking power in 1994. Voters punished the party for repeated corruption scandals and poor basic services in areas that have traditionally been ANC strongholds. The party has been steadily losing support and winning less than 50% of the vote. This week raised the possibility that South Africa could be governed by a party other than the ANC in the not-too-distant future. Outside Africa now, two suspected drug gang members were shot dead on a beachfront near the Mexican resort of Cancun on Thursday. A local official said warring gangsters faced off on a beach leading to the deaths. Police said that earlier, a group of armed men carrying long guns were seen in the area of the Azul Beach Hotel. One senior state official said a group of gunmen arrived by boat in pursuit of the men who were slain. And Britain has called for an end to the era of coal, saying it had 77 signatories to a pledge to phase out the dirtiest of the fossil fuels that cause global warming. This is just as a study showed carbon dioxide emissions had rebounded to near pre-pandemic levels.
77 countries have pledged to phase out coal, the dirtiest of the fossil fuels driving climate change. The announcement was made at the COP26 UN conference by host Britain on Thursday. The signatories have vowed to phase out coal-fuelled power generation, which makes up more than 35% of the world's power. They will also stop building new plants. COP26 President Alok Sharma.
Today, I think we can say that the end of coal is in sight. The progress we've seen over the past 2 years would have seemed like a lofty ambition when we took on the COP presidency back in 2019. Who would have thought back then that today we're able to say that we're choking off international coal financing?
20 countries also pledged on Thursday to stop public financing for fossil fuel projects abroad by the end of next year. Instead, the United States, Canada and 18 others will invest in clean energy. Campaigners called the commitment a historic step. The deal covers coal, oil and gas projects which burn fossil fuels without using technology to capture CO2 emissions. One drawback, though, was that it did not include major Asian countries responsible for most financing abroad. China, Japan and South Korea are the biggest backers of foreign fossil fuel projects in the G20. But those countries have committed to stop overseas funding for coal, a pledge made by all G20 nations. The International Energy Agency has said ending investments in oil, coal or gas supply projects is needed for the world to reach net zero global emissions by 2050. Scientists say achieving that is crucial for keeping the average global temperature from rising more than 1.5 degrees Celsius beyond pre-industrial levels. 77 countries have pledged to phase out coal, the dirtiest of the fossil fuels driving climate change. The announcement was made at the COP26 UN conference by host Britain on Thursday. The signatories have vowed to phase out coal-fuelled power generation, which makes up more than 35% of the world's power. They will also stop building new plants. COP26 President Alok Sharma.
Today, I think we can say that the end of coal is in sight. The progress we've seen over the past 2 years would have seemed like a lofty ambition when we took on the COP presidency back in 2019. Who would have thought back then that today we're able to say that we're choking off international coal financing?
20 countries also pledged on Thursday to stop public financing for fossil fuel projects abroad by the end of next year. Instead, the United States, Canada and 18 others will invest in clean energy. Campaigners called the commitment a historic step. The deal covers coal, oil and gas projects which burn fossil fuels without using technology to capture CO2 emissions. One drawback, though, was that it did not include major Asian countries responsible for most financing abroad. China, Japan and South Korea are the biggest backers of foreign fossil fuel projects in the G20. But those countries have committed to stop overseas funding for coal, a pledge made by all G20 nations. The International Energy Agency has said ending investments in oil, coal or gas supply projects is needed for the world to reach net zero global emissions by 2050. Scientists say achieving that is crucial for keeping the average global temperature from rising more than 1.5 degrees Celsius beyond pre-industrial levels.
To business news now, the value of mobile money transactions increased to 9.72% of Nigeria's gross domestic product in 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns pushed more people to internal banking and other digital transactions. However, the number of registered mobile money agent outlets per 1,000 kilometers reduced to 141, which is about 16.01 trillion. This represents a growth of 283%. And that's all for News Brief. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Osao Gie Ogbawan. Thanks for watching.
Most people know the common symptoms of the original COVID-19 variant, which are shortness of breath, cough, fever, sore throat, loss of taste or smell. It is important, however, to note that there are new variants of the coronavirus which are caused by mutations of the virus. The original Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and now the Delta variant. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the Delta variant, also known as B.1.617.2, can spread more easily as it has mutations on the spike protein that makes it easier for it to infect human cells. This means people may be more contagious if they contract the virus and more easily spread it to others. It is 50% more contagious than the Alpha variant, which is already 50% more contagious than the original coronavirus first identified in China in 2019. Its new symptoms are headaches, runny nose, and a sore throat. Now, while the Delta variant is still being studied, there are 5 things we need to note about it. 1. It spreads really quickly. One thing that sets this variant apart from others is the speed at which it's spreading. For instance, in just a few months' time, it went from being non-existent to becoming the dominant variant in the US, India, and the United Kingdom. 2. It could cause other symptoms. Cold-like symptoms such as headache, runny nose, and a sore throat top the list in the ongoing study of the Delta variant. 3. Vaccinated individuals are protected against the Delta variant. Medical experts have stated that the Delta variant is no match for the authorized vaccines as they provide a high level of protection against Delta and other variants circulating in the world. The AstraZeneca vaccine has been shown to be 60% effective at preventing infection and 92% effective at preventing hospitalization caused by the Delta variant, just to mention an instance. 4. Unvaccinated people are at risk. People who have not been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 are most at risk of being infected with the Delta variant. And for the first time, kids and young people are a concern as well. A recent study from the United Kingdom showed that children and adults under 50 were 2.5 times more likely to become infected with the Delta variant, as the variant seems to be impacting younger age groups more than previous variants. 5. Masks are still important. Health experts across the world advise everyone to still wear their mask, even though fully vaccinated against COVID-19. They are also advising unvaccinated people to avoid large gatherings and mask up indoors where the vaccination status of other people are unknown. And 6, other variants are still on the way. Even though the Delta variant is currently the most prominent strain of COVID-19 currently, the Lambda variant out of South America is still emerging. Health experts urge that if people want to get back to normal, a significant portion of the population needs to be vaccinated. So get your vaccines today, mask up, and stay safe.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
For upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
It's a Friday morning. Of course, the weekend is here. Rest is near. Welcome on the show. My name is Wally Scott, and we have too many things to discuss today. I've got the media officer of the Super Eagles, Femi Raji, via Zoom. I've got Shenwa Jidagba on the phone, and we'll try and analyze all of this together. Now, first of all, FIFA has appointed North African officials for the Super Eagles 2022 World Cup qualifiers against Liberia and Cape Verde later this month. This is contained in a statement by the Communications Department of the Nigeria Football Federation yesterday. Now, Tunisian referee Youssef S. Rayari will take charge of the Eagles game against the Lone Stars at the Grand Stade de Tangier, Morocco, on September 13th, and will be assisted by countryman Ismail, assistant referee 1, Yusuf Jami, assistant referee 2, and Meres Melki, fourth official. Now, former FIFA referee Zeli Zinko from Cote d'Ivoire is the referee assessor, while Sierra Leonean Soule Kamara is match commissioner, and Moroccan Bilal Mohamed Kida, the medical officer. For the last group match against Cape Verde, Algerian referee Mustafa Shofal will serve as the center referee. He will be assisted by Makran Gurari, assistant referee 1, Abbas Akram Zehumi, assistant referee 2, and Lablu Biram, fourth official, who are also all from Algeria. The match commissioner of the game billed for the test in Balogun Stadium, Lagos, on November 16th is Sierra Leonean Kai Sakwi, while Ivorian Namindiaz Douan and Dr. Abdurrahman Ominisi Salami from Nigeria will serve as referee, assessor, and medical officer, respectively. The Eagles lead Group C with 9 points, 2 ahead of second-placed Cape Verde. Do I have Femi Raji on the phone yet, via Zoom yet? Okay, Femi, good morning. Good morning, Femi. Okay, we are going to be discussing the Super Eagles and, of course, our chances against Liberia in Morocco and, of course, Cape Verde. Okay, Antonio Conte has said that Tottenham must learn how to kill opponents after witnessing 5 goals and 3 red cards in what he calls a crazy first match as Spurs boss. The North Londoners led 3-0 after 28 minutes against Eredivisie side Vitesse Arnhem, but conceded twice before halftime in their... Okay, I think I've got Sheon on the phone already. Sheon, good morning. Okay, Europa Conference League clash. Now, defender Christian Romero saw red on the night as Conte's men hung on to make it 2 wins from 4 in Group C. The Italian said it was impossible to compare Tottenham's situation to when he took over at Inter and spoke of his desire to fulfill the club's great potential.
My first impression, a crazy game because we were winning 3-0 and I think we were dominating the game. We created many chances to score other goals, and instead in 10 minutes and we conceded 2 goals, and in that moment the confidence, we lost a bit of confidence, and I think we have to work also in this aspect. But we should win, and we won. For sure, we risked in the second half after a red card to stay with 10 men. They tried to push us, and then I decided to change, to make 3 changes, because I have seen that we lost the balance. And at the end, I think we deserved to win, because at the end we created many chances, more chances than Vitesse. But who knows me very well, I don't like when this type of game, this crazy game. I call them a crazy game. I want a stable team. I want to, when there is the possibility to kill the opponent, you must kill. But for sure, my players showed me great commitment, great resilience, and I think this is a good aspect. My first impression, a crazy game because we were winning 3-0 and I think we were dominating the game. We created many chances to score.
Antonio Conte trying to bring back the killer instincts that's missing in Tottenham. Will Daniel Levy help him get players? We don't know. Time will tell. We'll take a short break. We'll come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. I've got the media officer of the Super Eagles. His name is Femi Raji. You have no idea how much work it took me to get this man on this show. Welcome on the show, Femi.
Good morning and welcome.
Welcome.
How are you doing today?
Yeah. Now, Femi, the question everybody wants me to ask you, let me just go straight to that question. The Super Eagles ready for Liberia, no doubt. We're expecting a win, all things being equal. But the question is, why is Gernot Rohr always trying to resurrect the dead? At a point, he tried to bring Vincent Enyama. Now he's trying to bring back Odion Igalo. Why does he always want to bring back the dead? Do we need Igalo in that team at this point? We have enough strikers, don't we?
Well, thank you very much. He's a chief tactician of the team. And the moment he says, or the team, they agree, and the crew, that they need Igalo, then there must be a reason for that. And most times I believe when you give somebody a job, you let him do the job. It's the results that counts. Nobody wants to look at the process or what you've done. They just want to see the end result. And if it is Igalo that the coaching crew wants, fine. Is he still playing football? Yes. Is he still very active? Yes. Is he scoring goals? Yes, he is. And it really add value to the team. Yes. So it's not about the resurrection from the dead or anything. It's about what the technical deems fit that can make them get the result. If you have a task, all you want is tools that will make you achieve your objectives. And if Igalo will add value in achieving our objectives, then so be it.
Now, Femi, does Gernot Rohr have to work on the players psychologically? What I mean now is people like Victor Osimhen, Onuachu, Kelechi Iheanacho, who are doing so well for their clubs, won't they start feeling like, why is he bringing Odion Igalo? Doesn't he think we're doing a good job as it is?
They are all professionals. And one good thing about the team, the fold, is it's one family. And they are all very, very thorough professionals. Whether we like it or not, even the likes of Osimhen at one point in time played alongside Odion Igalo. So it means that bond is still there as a family. Most times, it's always good to look at what we want to achieve as a team. It's not about the individual. It's not about the component, the unit. It's about the entire component, the composition of the team. And we just want to go out, win every game. We want to go out, win every tournament. At the end of things, what you, the fans out there, what you, my colleagues in the media, will indeed ask or check will be the full-time scores. And if the full-time scores favors us and gives us 3 points, gives us the victory, then there's no need querying the process anymore.
Nigerians are still very scared after that loss to CAR. And of course, they are saying it was only complacency that set in. Technically, we're a very fantastic team. We've got fantastic players, but we get complacent once in a while. Now, you are the media officer. You are closer to the Super Eagles than some of us are. If you agree that complacency has set in at this point, what are we going to do to ensure that, listen, we don't make mistakes, we don't lose focus like we did against CAR at the point? Because Nigerians haven't forgiven the Super Eagles to have lost that game to them yet.
Well, once again, we appeal to Nigerians, please, for those that have not forgiven us, please forgive us. Because I recall we went to Douala. We went to Douala to make amends, and we beat them. Was a way of saying, Nigerians, please calm down. What happened in Lagos was just a shock. It was just one of those turbulent times that you could experience. We've seen teams like even North Macedonia beat big teams. In football, there's what you call upsets. And at that point, it was our turn. And we've taken our lessons, the entire crew, we've taken our lessons, but we are forging ahead. We don't want to find, I believe in one thing, retrospect for life. So most times, thank God we had that rude awakening, so that anytime we look back, we remember there was a car crash, a CAR, I mean, and we know that we don't want to encounter that again. So all we want to do is take it one step at a time. The next game will still be the same CAR, and we're going to Tangier by 13, and we will beat Liberia, get 3 points again, come home, say thank you to Nigerians, beat Cape Verde, so that we start preparing for the Nations Cup afterwards. All we want to do is just to make sure we take it one step at a time and keep this process ongoing.
Now, Femi, let me put you on the hot seat now. 2 questions, we'll put you on the hot seat and I'll let you go. First one is, Nigerians are talking about the technical abilities of Gernot Rohr as a Super Eagles coach. Now, what I mean is, Nigerians don't know what style of play we have, don't have an idea what Gernot Rohr's plan B is whenever a match is going on. Those days, we know we came from the wings on the field of play. Amokachi, Amunike from the wings, Rashidi Yekini up front. Nigerians can't decipher at this point what style of play does the Super Eagles play under Gernot Rohr. We don't know.
Well, let me liken it this way. I don't know if any client that has a lawyer representing him in court who asks the lawyer, what style will you use to defend me in court? Or you want to undergo surgery, and then you are asking the surgeon, please, which style or which procedure do you want to do? It's the results that really counts, trust me. And I don't know when anyone comes out to say, okay, maybe the coach is not tactically sound or anything. No. You must come with a coaching badge to tell me this person is not sound. So as long as there is no coaching badge and you're observing from the outside, it's good to just look at wait for the results first. You know, it's always good to put yourself in the position where, imagine you being a manager of an institution and then you are asked to deliver results. All they want to know, all your employers want to know, all investors want to know is the results. As long as the process in which you embark upon are legal processes, it means within the ambit of the confines of the laws that guide that industry, in this case, football. So as long as we go through the right process, get everything, whatever tools you get, how you deliver, nobody wants to know. We just want the result. Is Coach Gernot Rohr giving the results? Yes. Okay. Have we qualified for every tournament without bringing out calculator? Recall there was a time we were bringing out calculators to check out.
True that.
But at this point in time, under Gernot Rohr, it's been a thing of the past. So we should just give him his credit, believe in the team, believe in the players. This is the right time all of us should come together and help this team also. We psych ourselves up, but we expect our fans and my colleagues in the media to also help us prepare and win tournaments.
Okay, if you are watching the show right now, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa, Femi just explained to us that, listen, his style does not matter at this point. It's the results that matters. And really, under Gernot Rohr, we have qualified for practically every competition, really. Let's give the guy that kudos. Now, before I let you go, Femi, this one is from our colleagues. Your colleagues too. They say that the attitude of Amaju Pinnick towards explaining things to us, we need to be explained to. Too many things that he needs to explain to us. But Amaju is someone who obviously does not, he's not in his person, his character to explain things to people. He just wants us journalists to conclude, guess, and then when we write what is wrong or say what is wrong, he puts us in trouble. As in, what do you think can be done as the media officer of the Super Eagles to ensure that the president of the NFF tends to explain more, relates more with the journalists than just conclude that, listen, think what you want, I'll do what I want to do?
Well, I don't know if I'm in the right position to...
You are not, just your opinion. Okay, Femi's opinion now. Femi's opinion.
I've got a boss. Once I have an opinion, it means I've been able to speak. I have a boss. His name is Ademola Olajuwon, who is the Director of Communications.
I'll find him, don't worry.
Yes, I'm not just that. Definitely, all we just need to do is believe there's a process ongoing. And anyone that, like I told you, anyone that is saddled with any responsibility in running any institution, first I took the coach, now you mentioned the president, allow the person run and then deliver the results, which is very key. For the records, you all know I also work. I'm a media person.
Yeah.
Imagine me and being a GM of of my own department, a group manager, and then someone queries how I'm going about things, when the person has not seen the result, I'll feel rather terrible about it. You understand? So I rather want to go ahead, get the results first. Fine, communication is key. And I believe whether we like it or not, the NFF has done well in trying to make everyone understand everything ongoing. I think if there's any institution or parastatal in Nigeria that has done well in carrying everyone along, including the media, it is the Nigeria Football Federation under the leadership of Mr. Majimal Kumpini. And that is very key. We understand, my colleagues, we all want more. We want more information. And in that regard, we will do everything we can to keep churning out as much information as we can.
Okay, if you're still watching the show right now, Femi Raji, he's the media officer of the Super Eagles, and he has sent me back to Demola Olajire. I promise you guys, I will bring him on the show very soon, maybe even tomorrow. I'll bring him on the show to actually explain some things that Femi is running away from. But don't forget, I told you, it actually took me a lot of work to get Femi, so I will send you guys his AZA at the end of the show, so you guys can do the right thing by, at least he came on the show, yeah? Thank you very much for joining us, Femi. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, baby. Okay, now Jaren Jackson Jr. helped lead the Memphis Grizzlies to a 108-106 victory over the Denver Nuggets on Wednesday. Now, Jackson Jr. came up clutch, scoring 11 of his season-high 22 points in the fourth quarter. Now, Nikola Jokic put up a season-high 34 points along with 11 rebounds, but missed the chance to send the game into overtime with a missed jumper at the buzzer. The Grizzlies recorded their second consecutive win over Denver, improving to a 5-3 with a trip to Washington next.
They'd like to keep them. The Grizzlies would like to keep it. He is going to take a closer look at the takes. And Jeff Green just received an Adams screen. Ja hangs it, hits. And nothing falling for the Grizzlies at the moment. A look ahead for Jokic. And a foul to give. Morant, a 360 spin and a finish. How ridiculous is that? Around the steal. He's not made another one. Barton, heat check. And Bain, Jackson, Williams, Jones, and Conchar. Jaren, another three. Good again. Jones ties all over him. 5 to shoot. Highland gives way. Jokic forced into a desperation three. Put it in. 93-91 at Minnesota. Barton, Jokic against Jackson. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Jokic for overtime.
So up next, Memphis Grizzlies face a tough tie on the road against the Washington Wizards. That's one match I want to watch. Now, world number 2 Daniel Medvedev needed 3 sets to see off Sebastian Carter of the United States 4-6, 6-1, 6-3 at the Paris Masters. The US Open champion will play Frenchman Hugo Gaston, who stormed back from a 0-5 second set deficit to beat Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz 6-4, 7-5 and reach the quarterfinals. Norwegian Casper Ruud crushed American Marcus Giron 6-2, 6-1 and will meet German Alexander Zverev in the next round after the latter edged Bulgarian Grigor Dimitrov 7-6, 6-7, 6-3.
Et deuxième manche, Medvedev. Si je un 6 games to 1. Je Second match, Medvedev. Deux manches à 1, 4-6, 6-1, 6-3, 4-6, 6-1, 6-3.
Of course, Alexander Medvedev makes it happen in the quarterfinals at the Paris Masters, the Roland Garros. Now, Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has been placed on the NFL's reserve COVID-19 list and will miss Sunday's game against the Kansas City Chiefs, the team said. Now, multiple media outlets reported that the league's reigning MVP had tested positive for the novel coronavirus. The NFL Network reported that Rodgers has not been vaccinated, and Packers head coach Matt LaFleur said he did not know how long Rodgers will be out, adding the backup quarterback Jordan Love is likely to start in his place. Under league regulations, players who were unvaccinated and test positive for the novel coronavirus must quarantine for a minimum of 10 days. Seahawks in Week 10, Rodgers has led Green Bay to the top of the NFC North with 7 wins and 1 loss, putting up 17 touchdowns with 1,895 passing yards. Packers wide receiver Devontae Adams outlasted Thursday's win over the Arizona Cardinals after a positive test.
Yeah, I've been immunized. There's a lot of conversation around it, around the league, and a lot of guys who have made statements and not made statements, owners who made statements. There's guys on the team that haven't been vaccinated. I think it's a personal decision.
Hey, Matt, I know that you won't specifically address Aaron's status, but Aaron himself addressed it in August when he was asked about a vaccination status and said, "Oh, yeah, I've been immunized." Do you feel like a quote like that might be seen as misleading to fans?
It's a great question for Aaron. I'm not going to comment on it.
That's all we can take on the show today. Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. The weekend is here. Rest is near. Thank you very much, Media Officer. Super Eagles Femi Raji was on the show earlier via Zoom. Join us tomorrow on Plus Sports Special, Saturday 11 to 12, same station. My name is Wally Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your hearts, do some sports.
The hair industry is a multi-million naira business in Nigeria. The industry has experienced impressive growth in recent years. From the sale of hair extensions, wigs, and hair care products, it is a huge market and it is largely buoyed by patronage from women. Women are mostly identified by their hair, but does that mean without hair they have no identity? Definitely not. There is a condition called alopecia. It causes the partial or complete absence of hair from areas of the body where it normally grows. And for women who have it, they experience baldness. We met an alopecian, Jasmine Oguns, who shared her story with us.
Alopecia is an autoimmune disease, but we alopecians like to define it as an autoimmune condition, so we don't scare people. So alopecia is an autoimmune condition that happens when the immune system attacks the hair follicles, thereby causing partial or total hair loss. The immune system is actually supposed to protect us from germs, diseases, and sickness. But in this case, the immune system attacks the hair follicles because it sees the hair follicles as a stranger to the body system, so it attacks it. And once the hair follicles get attacked, then there's a problem in the roots of hair growth. So that's where hair loss starts from. I started having hair loss in 2004. That was my first year in school, in higher institution. Before then, I used to have very long hair, like very beautiful hair. And a particular day, I went to the salon and my hairstylist noticed a bald patch behind my head, just around here. It was very tiny, very insignificant, but she noticed it because she has been making my hair for a long time. Yeah, so she noticed it and called my attention to it, but I didn't pay so much attention to it because I felt it was a minor thing and my hair was going to grow back. So after 2 weeks, I went back to make my hair. She noticed another one on this side. She called my attention to it again, so I became scared. I informed my mom about it, and my mom also didn't see it as a big issue. She just said it would grow back. And after a while, the patches started increasing, and they started forming a map on my scalp. I stopped going to the salon to make my hair. It became a thing of concern, and someone told my mom it was lakpa caused by dandruff. But then I didn't have dandruff, so where did it come from? So she got sulfur, started applying sulfur on the scalp. But instead of it to get better, it got worse. There were times we just